everybody, and welcome to a fresh new episode of Indie Game Sauna. My name is Juho. I'm a Finnish independent game developer, and in this video series I review indie games. In this week's episode we are checking out a new point-and-click adventure game called The Mine. What's it all about? Let's go and find out. I'm always very pleased when game developers manage to find some cool new setting to be used in their games. The Mine might not have the most original title, but the world the game takes place certainly is. You are a part of a Swedish mining crew in the 17th century. The massive copper mine is your second home, but as point-and-click traditions require, there's a whole lot of other stuff you can do besides working. The town of Ellsberg has its fair share of eccentric characters you can interact with and puzzles to solve. Let's start with a positive note. The soundtrack is great as it fits the mood of the game spot on. The music does complement the historical setting quite well. The mine almost feels like a western. I'm also pretty impressed by the fact that there are several different solutions to puzzles, which does create variety and replay value, which is not that commonplace in adventure games. The overall design of the puzzles is also pretty good, although there are some exceptions. Sometimes the clues are a bit vague, and I couldn't find one key element of one major puzzle without the help of the developers. The game is done in 3D, which does create a set of problems. The camera angles tend to change quite rapidly, and there are some issues regarding the pathfinding of the player character and NPCs. The camera angles in particular are annoying. They do tend to mess with your sense of direction, which becomes a big issue in the second part of the game, which takes place in the mine itself. Navigating in the tunnels is hard, as changing directions is needlessly difficult. The game would greatly benefit from gamepad or keyboard movement, especially in the tunnels. While the music of the game is great, the same can't unfortunately be said of the rest of the audio. I'm really impressed that most of the game is voice acted, which is no small feat for a small indie studio. This is completely a personal preference, but I did turn off voiceovers pretty much immediately. I tend to do this in nearly every game I play, but there are some amateurish qualities to the voice acting which was a bit off-putting for me. The 3D graphics get the job done, but they could have used an extra round of polish. Animations are a bit janky, and there are some graphical glitches here and there. I didn't mind the visuals that much, but generally I think this could have worked better as a 2D game. I really have to compliment the developers for putting in the effort of different solutions to puzzles. This does create replay value for the game, which it certainly needs, as the adventure itself is quite short. I could have easily played through twice or triple the content, as there are only a handful of puzzles to complete. If you are a point-and-click veteran, you can easily plow through the game in 1 hour. In terms of content, I don't think there's enough of it to justify the €13 price tag. Every finished game is a miracle, and I hope the developers will use the experience they gathered while making the mine on their next one. Just add polish and content, but keep the setting and you're good to go. Thanks a lot for watching. If you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing for this channel. It would mean a lot. I also have my own indie game in the works, and it's called Hyperdrive In. It's a pretty cool point-and-click adventure game set in an infinite hotel, and it features graphics made entirely out of scanned fabric samples. The game is already on Steam, so you can go ahead and wishlist the game right now, and we also have a playable demo of it. All the relevant links can be found in the description of this video, as well as the link to the Steam page for The Mine. But that's all for today. I see you guys again next week, but until then, bye bye!